behind me is the new Takeuchi TCR50. It is their 5-ton track dumper. They actually just released it at the end of June, and my dealer got one in a couple weeks ago, so I ran up there the other day and picked it up and was gonna rent it for a week and just kind of see what it was all about. They've had these out for years, overseas, the UK and Europe and places like that, but they've just kind of finally made their way over to the States. So we'll just kind of do a quick walk around of it. It's powered by a 118 horse Yanmar diesel engine. You'll notice the cab is very similar to like the 2150, and it runs just like the track loaders. I'll get in there in a minute and show you, but the left joystick does all the tracking and the right does all the bed functions, and the bed does actually swing side to side 90 degrees. So that's what the 180 is for, so you can pull alongside a trench, or if you're trying to backfill a basement or anything like that and just dump off to the side, or you can just dump it normally or whatever. So you can kind of see we've already been kind of playing with it. I got the dirt all over it, and like all the other Takeuchi equipment, it's very easy to access all the filters and such. So there's your air filter, your 2 fuel filters. You can put a grease gun up here. This is a little tube to drain the oil and such out of, so that's all really nice. It's easy to get to that air filter and blow it out because it is definitely dusty here. And then up here is the def tank, so it's easy to get to. And then this is where it flips open and you can get to all the engine and such. And right underneath this cover is looks like the radiator. You're able to kind of get in there and blow that out real well. You got all your emission stuff, your oil fill, oil check, and there's a compartment or a deal on the back that unbolts. We can go around there. So like get to your oil filter. And so yeah, you obviously have to turn or raise the bed, but you can unbolt that and get to the back side of it. And then yeah, it's got several different belly pans underneath there. You can see, I'm not going to lay in the dirt, but one of them back there's the one, like the cover you can take loose. It's on like the excavators, the loaders and such like that, and you thread that tube on there and drain the oil and everything out. So very easy to access for the maintenance stuff, which is always a plus. And then in the cab, like I was saying, it's not quite the size, it doesn't seem like, of the 2150, but it's very similar. It's got the same screen that's in all the excavators and loaders. Your key over here. Turn the AC down. And then all your toggle switches. Yeah, park and brake, lights, wiper. It doesn't have a beacon or whatever on it, but it's got it set up for that. And then this side is your HVAC controls, and it's got a couple vents back here in the back, and then this one up here, it's also got the washer fluid container and a throttle pedal. It also comes with a nifty little cup holder right here, so that's pretty handy. And then your radio's back there. So like I said, the cab's not quite as big, but it doesn't really need to be, just to get everything. They got all the basic stuff that you'd need. A little sun visor there. So it is definitely a neat little truck. So I know the biggest thing a lot of people are already going to say just from looking at it is the bed's too small, which it may be for some projects. The biggest thing or advantage I can kind of come up with or found with this machine is getting it into places where you couldn't either get a bigger truck or somewhere where you have to take the track loader and just track a lot of trips and such like there, like building, you know, maybe like a, I don't know, a condo or like apartment complex, or even like golf courses and such like that. This thing would be really beneficial to that. Even like landscapers, I think, would be a really nice job backfilling retaining walls. I mean, even doing like perimeter drains, or even some of the utilities and stuff I get into, like with the water lines. I thought you could load up rock in there and kind of just drive along the trench, where that way you don't have to take the track loader and try to turn, and in case you're in like an existing spot where you don't want to try to mess up the grass or yard or anything like that that's in there. I mean, it's a quick little truck, and you know, maybe like production wise, you could pretty easily put some, almost even like some sideboards or some taller sides along there. I think a lot of it's just lower and a little more narrow, just to make room for swinging around or something like that. But there's definitely some things you can do to it. And there's actually been some talk about possibly making like a 10-ton version of it, where the bed would probably just be a little bit bigger, I would say. I think earlier I was getting like 4 to 5 heaping buckets with the 2150, and kind of the same thing with the track loader. And that's the nice part about it. I mean, this thing can be loaded with a TL6, you know, all the way up to the 12, or any type of the excavators and such like that. So I mean, even like I said, like the landscaping guys, if you've got like a smaller, you know, I think even like a 210 or a 235 would reach this thing no problem. So that's where it could be really beneficial. And even like, I just keep kind of thinking of things as I'm walking around it talking, but like when I've buried downspouts and stuff in people's yards, this would be handy to just dig your spoils and stuff out, load it right into the truck and haul it out to where you can get rid of it at, instead of having to pile it up there and clean it up with the loader later on. It does have a backup camera underneath here, which is really handy if you're wanting to see to even turn it, or you know, back up to something and get close. But even all the grease points are really very accessible to get to. There's one, where did I see it? I've only messed with this thing for like 2 hours or something. So there's one on the swing gear, because it's pretty similar to what's like on the big 2150. It's the swing motor, or swing, I guess, gear or carriage you call it. It's on like an excavator and stuff. But even like out here on all these rollers, it's got grease points for all the spots right there that's real easy to get to. It's got huge drive motors on it. We loaded it up and ran it up that pile no problem. So it looks like a tank undercarriage, and it pretty much runs over things like a tank. So it is definitely a neat little truck for sure. It's got all the LED lights on it, just like on the, I guess, the 2150, maybe even the 290s and such. I just compare everything to the 2150 because that's what I've got. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm just a couple hours that I've ran it around here, I've been really impressed with it. We might as well start it up and do a little demonstration of the bed, and I can even go grab the, I think the 2150's over there, and we can kind of load it up and track around and dump some dirt. Got your screen here, like I said, and there's the camera. It automatically comes on when you back up. But yeah, it's basically the same display that's in like my 12 or my 260 and such. So, and then like I said, the left does all the tracking, so it's just identical to the track loaders. You just kind of move it whichever direction you want to go. And then the bed, obviously you pull back, raises the bed up, and then you push it to the right or left, like 2 seconds, and then it starts rotating. But it'll rotate all the way over there. And the nice part about it is you can kind of spread with, like if you want to dump in a trench, you can have it turned and then just keep kind of rolling forward and obviously raising it at the same time, but it's kind of hard to do with one hand. And then it'll rotate either all the way up or it is a 2-speed machine. Like I said, it does have the foot throttle, which is really handy. So if you don't need to have it revved up all the time, you can just step down on it, and then your left trigger kicks it into rabbit mode. But it scoots along a job site pretty quick. impressive what it, which is nice because the tracks run all the way up here to the front, so that bumper doesn't really hang down too bad. But you can pull up the hills. You do kind of take it easy, or at least I do, since I'm running it on the breakover part of it. But so I can definitely see where this thing would be handy on any kind of steep hills, inclines, and like definitely like marshy, wet areas, which, you know, obviously we don't have a lot of that here, but like up in the northeast and stuff like that, it would be really, really handy with those tracks just to float over that stuff. So I need to set the camera up outside so you can grasp how steep this hill is. But yeah, it climbs right up that. I could get in trouble with this thing for sure. So. But yeah, it is a very neat little truck. Like I said, it's not going to be something obviously like for everyone, or like kind of like what I've done over there in the Kansas job. Obviously the Hydrema may have a step above it just because it hauls 13 or 14 ton versus this one, you know, gets 5 or 6 in there. But so it's not, I guess I'm trying to say it's not maybe like a high production. If you just got a wide open area you're trying to just move a lot of material to, it'll still do the job, obviously. I mean, it just takes, you know, not near as much time to load it and get back, so you just be a lot of jumping around. But we had it out earlier today. It had a guy in the 2150, one of them running this, and then I was in the 12. By the time I finished knocking like one of the loads down, he was already back over there dumping more. So I was pretty surprised kind of how quick we were getting a lot of that dirt and stuff like that. Because we did 5 or 6 loads in, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or something. So yeah, even if you had a couple guys running the stuff, yes, it only holds 5 tons, but it doesn't take any time at all. I think it took him 45 seconds to load it with the 2150. So you can be moving along at a pretty high rate of speed. It's a very capable truck, so the dealer may not like watching that footage, but yeah, I went up there and down, no problem. I put another camera in the back just to see how much dirt came out of it. It's kind of hard to tell, maybe a scoop, but I don't know how many times you're going to be taking dirt up a hill that steep. And another thought was, if you do have a bunch of, you know, hills and terrains, even like maybe try to make some sort of tailgate back here, or even like another, you know, bed extension or something like that to hold the material in. And depending on what it is, I mean, you can obviously tell it's extremely dry here again, so our dirt is powder. That runs out a whole lot easier than like some wet sticky clay or mud if you're dredging a pond or anything like that. So I'm excited to have it here for the week and kind of test it out, see what we can do with it. I got some various jobs with it. I got some I'm going to use the 12 to load it, move stuff around, and then has, you know, the 2150 or whatever as well. So yeah, we'll try to get some more videos with running the TCR50.